Support Wrestle Talk!
Another week, another blockbuster 7 days of AEW screaming the word news directly into our brains. Some stuff happened at All Out. Congratulations AEW on the stuff. But while the rest of those news boys, Stupid Ollie, Stupid Laurie, and Stupid Pete were covering the big news by the big people, I'm all about the little people. Like you little, tiny, minuscule piece of shit. I'm Adam from Wrestle Talk, and here are this week's 10 wrestling news stories that you might have missed. Please like and subscribe to Wrestle Talk. I spoke to Ollie and he said that if 1,000 people subscribe from just this video, that he'll shave the Disney logo into his chest hair and dance topless outside the Disney store at the local Westfield. He promised. Number 1, Tessa Blanchard is nuclear to companies. Once upon a time, before WWE shot half its talent into space, former Impact World Champion Tessa Blanchard was considered the hottest free agent in wrestling. In mid-2020, it seemed only a matter of time before someone like AEW or WWE picked her up, especially with her father being Tully Blanchard, who is working as a manager in AEW. However, according to a report from Bodyslam.net, Blanchard is considered nuclear by major companies who don't want anything to do with her following controversy surrounding her unsavory comments and well-documented issues. This was pretty well exemplified during the Women's Casino Battle Royal at All Out, where there was some small "We Want Tessa" chants drowned out by "No, we don't" chants in response. According to the report, the only company that has had negotiations with her since her acrimonious departure from Impact in 2020 is NWA. So for now, at least, it seems she'll just continue training with Izzy. Yes, that's a thing that's happening. Number 2, Kushida tested positive. Since winning the NXT Cruiserweight Championship in April this year, Kushida began putting on banger after banger in an open challenge format, often having the match of the night on NXT. But after Roderick Strong's new faction Diamond Mine debuted, setting up a Cruiserweight title match against the Messiah of the Backbreaker, Kushida has been absent from TV, forcing that match to be cancelled. Kushida's now revealed why, stating that he and his family all tested positive for COVID-19. He said in a video posted to Instagram that despite being vaccinated, they all still contracted the virus, had low energy, and lost their senses of taste and smell. However, they're all now fine and recovering, which is some positive news at least. Fingers crossed Kushida can return to NXT soon and light up the ring once more. Number 3, Jake Atlas requested release before firing. Sticking with NXT news ahead of their rebrand coming on Tuesday. Oh god, I'm so nervous. What if it's terrible? One of the releases from the most recent batch of NXT talent to be let go from the company was Jake Atlas. Atlas had joined NXT in 2019, made his debut in April 2020. However, in an interview with Wrestle Talk's best friend Denise Salcedo on her channel Instant Culture, Atlas revealed that he had originally asked for his release to Canyon Ceman, who was in charge of that sort of thing at the time and whose surname is Ceman, and there's nothing funny about that. Unfortunately, Ceman was also then let go himself. It took all the energy I had to not say Ceman was released, but now I have said that. And despite requesting it for 6 months, Atlas never actually got his meeting with Triple H. He turned down a contract extension in July and had some terms of his own he wanted to put forward. However, after taking some leave to deal with declining mental health, he returned and a week later was released. He mentioned in an interview he doesn't know whether he was already on the chopping block to be released or whether they went through Canyon Ceman's emails after he was let go and saw Atlas's request for a release and decided, well, if he doesn't want to be here, he's not going to be here. Number 4, Paige hinting at in-ring return again. In more positive news though, former Divas champion Paige here has been hinting at returning to the ring for a while now, and this week there was yet another tease of her not being done in the biz. After a post in July where she mentioned that her neck was feeling awesome, which was the reason she had retired in the first place, Paige here posted this past week on Twitter wondering whether she could still use "This Is My House" or if it's been taken now. It would be nice to hear her say it again. Ultimately, we just want Paige here to wrestle again as long as she's healthy, because she is great. Number 5, Minoru Suzuki needed 7 stitches after Dynamite match. Now let's move over to AEW, where all of the things are happening. After the debuts of Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, and Ruby Soho at All Out, one debut that might have gotten overlooked is Minoru freaking Suzuki, who showed up and started elbowing the shit out of Jon Moxley. This set up a match on Dynamite in Moxley's home state of Ohio between the two, and boy was there some rough housing. There was plenty of blood in the match, and it's now been revealed via Suzuki's Instagram that he actually needed 7 stitches afterwards to fix a cut above his right eye. I didn't think Samurai Murder Grandpa could get more terrifying, but seeing blood pouring out of his face might just do it. Number 6, Will Ospreay teases AEW appearance. And after Suzuki appeared on AEW, let's get that speculation train rolling, because who else could we see appear? Jay White, Tanahashi, Okada, Ibushi. Well, one name that hasn't ruled out an appearance for the company is former IWGP Heavyweight Champion Will Ospreay, who responded to a fan's Instagram story about whether we could see him on AEW Dynamite. I'd love to go there, but I'm a New Japan Pro Wrestling strong guy right now, and I've had enough of people knocking on their door. Knock on my door. Bunch of pussies, if you ask me. They're too scared to to knock on my door. Do you know why? Because I'd embarrass those boys. Those are fighting words. Number 7, Tony Khan says Jim Cornette is the person he's learned the most about wrestling from. Jim Cornette versus AEW, it's a rivalry as old as time, or as old as 2019, but who remembers a time before that? However, recently it does seem that hell has somewhat frozen over, as not only did Corny praise AEW for their tribute to Bobby Eaton and their booking of Punk's debut, but now Tony Khan has extended respect back to Jim Cornette. What is happening? Speaking on the post All Out media scrum, Khan didn't mention Cornette by name, but referenced a quote from him and mentioned the respect he has for him, saying that he's completely right when he says wrestling fans watch the wrestling program to see the wrestlers wrestle. Cornette originally said that when he found out that WWE had banned the use of the term pro wrestling, instead opting for sports entertainment. Khan went one further, saying that Cornette was, quote, the person I've learned the most about the wrestling business from. So Jim Cornette to AEW confirmed, I guess. Number 8, Tony Khan tells Excalibur to say belt. And speaking of terms banned in WWE by this crazy old guy, it's been known for a number of years now that WWE has banned the use of the word belt when describing a championship, despite it being a championship belt. On the same post-media scrum, Tony Khan was asked about pro wrestling versus sports entertainment and what his mindset is when bringing in names like CM Punk and Bryan Danielson, and Khan mentioned that pro wrestling is absolutely the encouraged term in AEW. He doesn't have a list of banned words or anything, and even made a point to say that after Excalibur on commentary exclaimed that Kenny Omega had hit Christian Cage with the championship title, Khan told him, Excalibur, you can say belt, bro. Number 9, Tony Khan says Adam Cole scared the shit out of him. Time to treat the trilogy of Tony Khan's say the darndest things. So Adam Cole seems like a lovely man, doesn't he? By pretty much all accounts, and if you've ever watched any of his Twitch streams, he comes across as a genuinely nice person. Well, apparently that didn't stop Tony Khan being scared by him. After Adam Cole's debut in AEW, the two were on the post-media scrum, where Tony Khan admitted that while the Wednesday night wars were going on between AEW and NXT, Adam Cole was the one man who scared the out of him. Out of the 75 episodes of AEW and NXT going head-to-head in the key demo, AEW won 74 of those episodes, as Khan mentioned. He then said that Cole was the one in 74-1. The one episode in question, by the way, was opened by Adam Cole wrestling Finn Balor for the NXT Championship, but it was closed with Rhea Ripley defeating Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. So, also Rhea and Shayna are the ones in 74-1. And Finn Balor as well, I guess. Oh, it was just a nice moment. And number 10, WWE Netflix interactive horror movie. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. And finally this week, WWE announced they're going to do a New Day Undertaker crossover interactive horror movie on Netflix. That is a lot of information to take in at once. The movie will be called Escape the Undertaker, where Kofi Kingston, Big E, and Xavier Woods will all look to escape Grunt Von Tunt's haunted mansion, avoiding traps along the way. As an interactive movie, viewers will have control, choosing which paths the New Day take and things of that nature. Insert funny, wacky scenario that the New Day could find themselves in here. I don't know, they go to the bathroom, but it's a spooky bathroom, and Undertaker's there, and he farts, and Biggie goes, oh no. And that's our list. What's your favorite bit of news from this week? What do you think of All Out? What do you think of, I don't know, anything? Just let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and share this video around if you enjoyed it, and make sure you subscribe to WrestleTalk for up-to-the-minute wrestling news. Jam that jam.